Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of New Chapters, our mental health hack series. I'm so excited today to introduce you to Jennifer Watkins, or Jenny Watkins, Jen Watkins, or as I call her, my Jen.
My mother calls me Jennifer, and that's usually when she's mad with me.
Everyone can just call her my Jen, which is what I do.
There we go.
So, Jen, I'm so excited to have you here. Jen is an empowerment coach and an Access certified facilitator, Access consciousness certified facilitator. And Jen introduced me to this incredible world of Access. She has been instrumental in cracking open my life many, many times and just being the invitation for change. So, in this mental well-being month, Jen, you have contributed so much, even though it didn't look like it at the time or feel like ease at the time. You've really been a catalyst.
When you didn't ever want to talk to me ever again.
Maybe just in those 10 seconds. But truly, thank you so much. And you are changing or helping people choose different realities and make different choices for themselves and their lives. And today specifically, what I wanted to share with all of our viewers is you're doing exceptional work in the communities with kids, with children. And I've been running Access Bars. If anyone here doesn't know, I'll share a little link so you can find out more about Access Bars, which is a beautiful modality. I'm going to use our mouthful, Jen, for stress relief, for burnout prevention. And then what Jen is focusing on as well is trauma release with kids, previously disadvantaged kids in the community. So, I've just got goosebumps because I know the Access Bar sessions that I've been running for children, which has been very surprising for me, because when I was young, there was nothing like this that we knew of.
Yeah.
You know, we just had to muscle our way through it. We just had to get over it and get on with life. But seeing that children as young as 9 are already going to therapists to get support with their mental and emotional well-being has been quite alarming for me. Something I never expected to experience. So that's been quite transformational and an eye-opener for me. So can you share with us why you are doing this, why you're doing this work, why you've taken it out to the communities? What have you found has stood out for you the most when it comes to kids and their mental health?
Yeah, so originally, one of my targets and dreams was to take bars into business. And because I come from a business background, I've been in corporate for 25, 30 years, and I watched how stressed people got in the work environment. And I also know how stressed I got in the work environment. But I got a phone call in November last year to say, hey, there's Rosalie and Olga phoned me and said they want to take bars to schools. And they've been given this opening to go to Kailicha, which is the biggest informal settlement, I think you would call it, in Cape Town. And I went to have a meeting with them, and I'm going, oh, this actually contributes to what I had as a vision, because my idea is to train school leavers who can't get jobs, who can't go to varsity, as bars practitioners, and then place them into corporate, which allows the corporates to take care of the mental health of their employees and also provides employment for people who perhaps don't have, jobs, etc. Anyway, so they're going, okay, we want to do bars in schools. And I'm going, okay, this is coming in the other way around, which often is what happens if you are willing to just go with the flow. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're going to create this, and then you see how the doors open, and you go through those open doors and see what's behind them. So it's been very interesting. We went to do presentations for the school's governing body, and they loved it. And we did demo sessions with the teachers and principals and stuff. And they said, yes, we'd love for you to introduce us to 65 schools in Kailicha. And we're going, oh boy. That's between, wow. I mean, it's an estimate because they don't really have accurate numbers of how many teachers and kids there are in schools, but it looks like it's between 80 and 90,000 teachers and children in schools in Kailicha. Plus, also, the schools are full. So there's a lot of kids that actually can't get into school. So there's a lot more kids in the community. So we started in January. And you know what was so amazing is we didn't really explain how bars worked. We just invited them to lie down. We taught them where the different points were on the head, and they ran the bars for each other. And they knew straight away what the difference was for them. They would get up and they go, I now know what it's like to go to heaven.
Wow.
And one would say, oh, you know what? All my stresses just disappeared and I stopped thinking. So they already felt the effects of that change that the bars was gifting them by recognizing that their stress was changing, that they were starting to relax more. And then we were only doing short sessions. It's like 30 minutes, 45 max. It's not long sessions. And these children already got the difference that it was making. So to go into the schools and to just see, I mean, the kids are like so curious, you know, as to what we're doing. And then to just like get those testimonials from them that they actually get it without it being explained or anything is pretty remarkable.
Sure.
So, you know, we go in with a question, who knows what this is going to create? But the awareness is there, obviously it's overcrowded. There are 50 to 70 kids in a class. The teachers are so stressed because they're trying to handle all of this. They're trying to get to a level of education. And, you know, that the children, when there's like so many kids in a class, can you imagine? So like in Access, you know, we teach that you're aware. Children today are very aware, which is why I think that they're very stressed, is because they're aware of each other. They're aware, we're going to say energetically, but they're aware of the vibes from each other. They feed off each other in a way. It's like if you're stressed, it's almost like fashionable to be stressed, and it's a trend. And it's fashionable to be upset and stressed about exams and studying and whatever. So it's almost like exponentializing the stress in a way. So they're like feeding energetically off each other, picking up each other's vibes. Obviously, they're talking to each other as well, which is increasing their stress levels. And then obviously the pressures of being in an environment perhaps where there's stuff going on at home, where a parent doesn't have a job, where they don't have access to healthcare. You know, there's a lot in those communities. Then there's a lot of crime. So for us to take this technique into the community and empower them to empower themselves, one, because we teach them some of the other tools as well, and because they are able to do this themselves. They can run bars for each other. They don't need to wait for us. Do you know what I mean? They can do it for each other. So the teachers can also run bars for each other. And we've actually had to re-strategize because we can't go through the community fast enough, just a few of us. So now our target is to actually train up 140 practitioners and facilitators in the community and then hire them into the nonprofit organization.
Incredible.
So that we can run at least 20 classes a week. And then we hopefully will get through all the schools within like 2 years. It's a big project. It's huge. But yeah, it's like, if you can tap into like, just get a sense and awareness of the stress that's going on in that environment. And if you can relieve that stress, then what occurs is creativity comes back. Ideas come back. People can start accessing, and the kids can start accessing things in a different way, where they will start, instead of reacting all the time, they might be able to respond in a different way. They'll be able to concentrate with more ease. They'll get through their exams with more ease. It's all about just de-stressing the body and the mind so that then they can access their capacities, their abilities, and their talents. And then who knows, if they really love it that much, they can become bars practitioners and facilitators, and then they can start their own business or get a job or Jen,
sorry, I talk a lot. This is phenomenal. I know that, you know, if anyone is watching, well, whoever's watching this will be so fascinated. I mean, if I was trying to put myself in our viewers' shoes and think, if I'd never heard of Access bars before, I am intrigued to find out more. And also having experienced it for myself, and also, you know, as a facilitator and running them for people, I've kind of got the whole overview. So Jen, what you are saying is remarkable. The work you are doing is remarkable. So I'm cheering you on. And if there's anyone here that wants to get involved, please let me know. I'll share the links below. You can reach out to Jen, and let's see how we can just start supporting the kids, the communities more and more. Because you mentioned earlier, you know, where you're taking on, I don't remember how you said it, but it was taking on the collective stress of everyone around them.
Yeah.
And that, yes, it's become, stress in itself is a pandemic, and it's become a badge of honor that we wear. Look at me, I'm so stressed, or I've got a psychologist, or I go to therapy, or, and what if there's a different possibility, which is exactly the hope that I'm creating over this month, is sharing the possibilities for something else than this reality that we've allowed ourselves to get trapped in, of stress and overwhelm and anxiety. And you mentioned something beautiful there about, tapping into, responding versus reacting. And then when you're in the state of relaxation, we can start tapping into our creative sides. We can start creating the lives that we truly desire and that bring us ease. So on that one then, Jen, is there a tool, an insight that you can share with everyone? So get your bars run. That for me, wherever you are in the world.
Facilitator somewhere.
Yes,
we are 170 plus countries.
Yes,
there's
in the world.
Loads of practitioners and facilitators everywhere.
So there's one thing already. There's just one thing that you can do. Is there anything else that you would like to contribute? Another tool, perhaps?
Yeah, and I think especially for kids, I think that kids, we're evolving as a species.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like getting more advanced, or however your language is for that, so the kids are coming in really advanced and very aware. And I think people who have children today notice that they're asking different questions. They want to learn in a different way. But the thing is, with the children, especially the ones that have been labeled as ADD, ADHD, autistic, Asperger's, on the spectrum, whatever, they actually have super awareness, which is why they are struggling a little in this environment. So if you can teach those children that everything that they are aware of doesn't belong to them, that can relieve,
so much.
If you get very good at this tool, can relieve probably, I would go as far as to say 90%, if not more, of your stress. Because if you are energetically aware, you're picking up, I'll try and explain it to you like this. If you walk into a room and someone's just had an argument, when they say, oh, you can cut the tension with a knife, that's because you are energetically aware of the atmosphere or the vibe in that room when you've walked in. Now, you're in a work environment, you're in school, you're hanging out with your friends, whatever, you're aware of their energies. Now, what are most people doing? They're judging themselves. Am I getting this right? I don't want to get it wrong. I've got to prove that I'm okay. I've got to defend my point of view. I've got to avoid getting wrong. You've got all this monkey mind stuff going on in your head that emits an energy, because every thought and everything you say has an energy to it, and that energy is coming off you. I don't know what else to say. That's what you're vibrating. So you're vibrating the frequency of your thoughts and your words. Now the people around you are picking that up, and you're picking up theirs. So almost like we're recycling all this stuff, and it doesn't really belong to us. So there's a few tools I'd like to add here. So first of all, if you catch yourself making yourself wrong, or judging yourself, or doing the self-criticism thing, to think in your head, interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view for judgment is one of the greatest tools that I have discovered so far. And it's a gift to you. It's an honoring of you to acknowledge that you are, our language is infinite being. Your language, your words for that may be different. People talk about a soul or whatever, but as an infinite being, would you be judging yourself? Always ask that question. Would an infinite being choose this? Would an infinite being be doing this? And if you get a no, then you can stop straight away and know, okay, that actually is a practiced, conditioned program reaction.
And then you can choose different.
It's normal, but it's not natural for an infinite being. So you've got to be able to differentiate between the difference between what is normal and what is natural. When you're going, okay, natural, an infinite being wouldn't be self-judging, self-criticizing, making themselves wrong. That's okay, cool. So that's interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view. If someone's judging you silently in your head, Interesting point of view. They have that point of view. You don't want to use it against someone. The tool is to give you ease with whatever anybody's like saying to you or throwing at you or whatever. So it's interesting point of view. They have that point of view. So interesting point of view for judgment is a really remarkable tool, and it's a gift and an honoring for you. If you can get to that space of allowance for you, you will have a lot more ease navigating your way through this, the world, the reality, whatever. Then the second one is to recognize that most of the things that you are aware of energetically don't belong to you. So if you're in an environment where you're walking into a shopping mall, you're in an office, you're at school, you're hanging out with friends, if you start feeling weird or wonky, it's not yours. You just picked up on the vibe from someone else. Maybe someone was really judging themselves or making themselves wrong. Maybe somebody's really worried about something, and you're picking up on those energies and those frequencies. But if you're not asking, is this mine? You're going to take it on because your brain registers that. And then because your brain's registering it, your body starts reacting to that thought. And then it thinks, oh, shit, there's something. Oh, oh, cracky, something's wrong.
Oh, crap. Oh, fiddlesticks.
Like, oh, drat, something's wrong.
Whatever that language is.
Yeah, just beep that out. And your body then starts to get this, you start experiencing anxiety and stress and depression or whatever, because your body is reacting to your thoughts and the things that you're picking up from others. So if you get out of judgment, 1, 2, recognize that most of the things that you are thinking or feeling or emoting don't belong to you. And you go, okay, that's not mine. Our tool is return to sender with consciousness attached. It's not like, oh, I'm going to give it back to the person that's giving it to me. It's just to recognize it's not yours and let it go with consciousness and allow consciousness to deal with it. You don't have to. Or if that doesn't work for you, you can just say, okay, that's not mine. I'm going to let it go. You just need to acknowledge it's not yours. As soon as you've acknowledged it's not yours, you don't take it on, and then it doesn't affect your body.
I love that.
So those 2 tools, interesting point of view, and is this mine? Yes or no? And you'll get that, like, as you're saying, is this mine? As you're asking that question, you're going to get a yes or a no. And you're going to know straight away whether it belongs to you or not. Now, most of what you think, feel, and emote doesn't belong to you. Pretty scary that we're recyclers of so much, but true story. But if you choose those 2 things and get your bars run, you can probably create a lot of change with stress, anxiety, and depression in a different way to, perhaps that you've been using before.
Absolutely. Oh, Jen, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And it's so, for me, it's kind of just confirmation, validation, affirmation, every synonym, because I had a conversation with Paul earlier, Paul Kearney, who was on the previous episode. And his tool that he wanted to share was, is this mine as well? So, so that is incredible that you share that. It just shows on how much you're tapping into that, you and Paul, that we're all tapping into why we are taking on so much stuff that isn't ours. And what you said here, that you don't take it on so that it doesn't affect your body. So everyone watching this is start asking this question, especially if you are having, because sometimes we notice it more in our bodies. We take for granted what's going on in our minds, but as soon as something is off with our bodies, that's where we tangibly feel the difference. So maybe for everyone watching is look at what's going on in your body. And I know that that's what I asked, and thanks to you and your support and Access Bars and Access Consciousness and the work that I've put in. So I'll acknowledge that I've put in the work as well, that I had epilepsy for 23 years and I was having multiple seizures a week. And in the last year and a half, after a lot of trauma that I experienced, I've only had, I think, 4. It's been 4 or 5 in a year and a half. And I was having more than that in 1. So what's happened now with that question, that tool that you've just given us, is when something's going on in my body, or I feel like I've got one of the symptoms that I used to experience before an epileptic seizure, immediately I'm like, okay, whose is this? Is this mine? This tool has been a game changer. So Jen, thank you so much Thank you for just being so generous with your time, with your giving and willingness to support and help our viewers over here, and all the incredible work that you're doing with the kids in the settlements and the informal settlements. So I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for everything that you have been in my life. And I'm excited for people to connect with you. Where can people connect with you? Where can they find you?
Probably via email will be easiest, which is Jenny, JENNY, Watkins, WATKINS @gmail.com.
Perfect. I will include that in the show notes, so you can just hit click and then be directed to Jen directly. All right,
Thank you so
amazing.
much for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. And everyone, you know the drill. This is something, it's great to have all this information, but what are you going to choose today? What are you going to actively choose to change and incorporate into your life and life so that you can start experiencing more of this beautiful ease that Jen has invited us to?
It is possible to change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. With that, we're going to say goodbye and thank you for being here.